Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's edition of the Daily Stand-Up. Without any further ado, let's get started. It's Hump Day! Finally! We reached the middle of this week, and I hope that this information you'll find useful. Every single day we try to strive and find things. This time this was sent in from one of our avid AgileDad fans. They asked us to take a look at a blog post that was recently published and to give our thoughts on it. The original blog post was called How to Energize Outside-In Thinking in the World of Remote Work. Smart idea. I like where they were going with this. The author was definitely on the right page. Let's see, the author. Here we go. So it looks like the author is Isaac Sekulik. So I want to make sure I give Isaac his street cred there. What I can tell you is it's smart. It's a smart article. So I just want to highlight it for you, review it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will encapsulate some of it just because I think it was a great way to talk about the top 3 things you could do to start with some outside-in thinking. So lots of times we recommend as coaches, as trainers, that leaders carve out time for outside-in thinking. The goal of outside-in thinking is to develop an expansive viewpoint on markets, customers, prospects, competition, industry, and technology capabilities through an outsider's perspective and progress beyond the insider's narrow-angle lens driven by stakeholders, short-term financial goals, and resolving yesterday's crisis. This is the key to not being myopic. And I think that, myopic is a word that a lot of people look at, and it just focuses on the very short-term, very hyper-focused way of doing things instead of looking at the big picture, right? Leaders cannot wait for outside-in thinking opportunities to appear before them magically, and the best leaders create an environment for themselves and for their teams to learn, experience, think, and brainstorm from an outsider's perspective. This is smart. They establish a collaborative dialogue on what people are learning, what's relevant to business priorities, what new ideas should be prioritized, what assumptions should be challenged, and what changes should be implemented. During COVID, though, that's not easy because everybody's working remote. It's not like a leader can schedule an off-site meeting at inspiring locations, attend in-person conferences where they can brainstorm with colleagues or visit remote teams to gain their perspectives. Reaching out to customers has become incredibly challenging, if not impossible. It's just been really difficult. They have lots of online working tools, but I got to admit, most teams that I deal with are zoomed out at this point, right? They'd rather zoom away from problems. So I think the keys here, there are 3 keys that he discusses. The first one is to invite partners and customers to brainstorms. There are many techniques for running in-person brainstorming sessions, all kinds of good stuff. But what often gets neglected is how to do this from a remote workplace. It's not just important to decide what you're brainstorming and how you're conducting the process, but who's invited to the discussion and where outside facilitation should be needed or helpful. Outside-in thinking says you're not just brainstorming with your employees internally, but you're open to bringing outsiders in to participate or lead the discussion. Outsiders might be customers, partners, industry experts, analysts, people from adjacent industries, experts who can challenge people's thinking. When you open brainstorming to the outsiders, that's when you gain a fresh perspective on the real problems and solutions. Chances are outsiders are more likely to call it the elephant in the room or other status quo type thinking. I have been promoting this for years. Get those people involved, whether it's a business analyst who represents the consumers, a functional analyst who represents strategic thinking, a technical analyst, someone who can challenge those technical challenges or technical mindsets. That's important, and I think it's things that are absolutely necessary. The next one is co-create innovative POCs with experts. So deciding to invest in a POC, proof of concept, shouldn't mean that teams must do it yourself, the implementation, or that the organization should outsource to a partner. Door number 3 is to co-create a proof of concept so that the implementation is also a learning experience. Smart again. Co-creating with a technology expert or technical analyst may be easier today as more organizations have been forced to open up remote working capabilities. Aha! Small agile team can include a mix of employees, partners, experts, and you can plow through things like emerging technologies, machine learning experiments, user experiences, other innovations. This is exactly what large organizations are starting to do today. Your Amazons, Microsofts, Apples, Disneys. This is what they're doing, right? The key to successful experiments is to enable outsiders to ask questions and to recommend solutions. Just recruiting outsiders for their technical expertise ignores the opportunity to be challenged and consider other recommendations. Love it. And the last one is just like a doorbell rang when I read it. Ready? It says, attend virtual happy hours. Over the last several months, I've attended, keynoted, and moderated discussions at many webinars and virtual conferences. Many of these are must-attend events for leaders, technologists, and innovators to learn and stay current about leadership principles, technologies, and practices, especially during a volatile period that requires reevaluating strategies and priorities, right? Some of these events do a great job of soliciting questions and dialogue with the audience, but most people will tell you they miss the networking that occurs in between the sessions, at meals, at the bar, or, at other places, during an in-person conference. The key here is, if at all possible, host virtual happy hours. And it could be with whatever beverage of choice the person wants to bring. You could do it in the morning as a coffee discussion. You could do it later in the evening over a glass of wine or whatever your favorite beverage is. But you can talk about digital transformation, agile cultures, DevOps, product management, data ops, governance, data-driven organizations, whatever it is, leadership. There's so many topics that you can talk about. I feel like we often look at the small picture and we miss the big picture. It's like not seeing the trees through the forest. I encourage you to take an opportunity to ring the bell, have a digital happy hour, try it out, make it virtual, see what you can gain from it. And what I can assure you is that when you do this, that you're going to grow both in steadiness and relationship with your team. I hope this information was useful to you. As always, I encourage you to visit AgileDad.com, where you can learn more about this topic and many others. And if you have a topic you want to hear on the Daily Stand-Up, feel free to email us at learnmore@AgileDad.com. We'd love to get you included. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.